a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn a thirst and
All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is where you are. Welcome back to my channel, y'all. My name is Sasha. If you are new, if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, my Lower Royals. So good to see you. If you are new to the fam, welcome to the fam, my new Lower Royals. So good to finally meet you. I am so sorry this video is late, but as I mentioned in the community post, I do have a special guest visiting this weekend, but we got a video anyway, y'all. So for this one, this is going to be a recommended places to travel around in the US. These are all places in which I have been to, whether it be once, twice, or more so beyond. But I highly recommend these places, and I promise, especially if you are very into museums or you like to shop or things like that, these are definitely for the bucket list. So each of them are going to be from East, West, Midwest, wherever. But I hope you enjoy. So, real quick disclaimer, these are my favorite places. If these places are in states that you don't like or you just have no interest in them, that's okay. That doesn't mean come after me or anyone else that likes these particular places that are in these states. So, please keep that in mind, even though everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If you don't like it, you ain't gotta deal with it. But these are my favorites. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and start this list, shall we? So, the first one on this list is the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. Now, the Air and Space Museum actually has two locations. There's one in D.C. and there's one in Virginia. But I've been to both. I prefer the one that's in D.C. because it's also around other museums surrounding in the area. But the National Air and Space Museum, if you haven't already realized it from my channel, I am a travel, space, and aviation nerd. And this place is right up my alley. There is a whole display with NASA. There's a mock display of the Voyagers, which I do have a video about the Voyagers I intend to do, by the way, so look forward to that. But there's different replicas of different types of aircraft that have been used over the years. And one of my favorites is, it's actually in the one in Virginia, but the space shuttle. The space shuttle is in the museum. I believe it's been switched out now. Eons ago when I went, the one that was in the Space Museum was Discovery. Discovery was in the museum at the time that I had gone, and that was back in like 2008, 2007, 2008. And Discovery is special to me because I got to watch Discovery when it came home from its final mission. So that was that. But National Air and Space Museum is number one. Number two on this list, Times Square in New York City. Now, I know for a fact, a lot of people think, oh my gosh, New York. But Times Square, bruh, there is so much to do and see in Times Square, especially if you go in the summer. Yes, it is busy. Yes, there are a bunch ton of hustlers that are walking along the streets trying to sell you their latest CD. Nobody said you had to accept it. Just keep on walking. But there is so much to do. One of my favorite places in New York City, it's not necessarily in Times Square, but it's a little restaurant called Salt and Pepper. Salt and Pepper is a little restaurant. It's literally it's on the same block as the Moynihan Train Hall, which is right across from Penn Station. And they are some of the kindest people. They have the best food, in my opinion. Their food is delicious. Anytime I go, I always get their breakfast because they make it fresh for you. And the people are very nice that work there. But Times Square, there is always something going on in Times Square, whether it be street performers, people selling like street food. We've gone there sometimes and they've had like street food stalls out and it was really good. There's a park, I believe it's called Bryant Park, that's over that way as well. There's plenty of shopping to do all throughout the entire area. So if you like to shop, you love to sightsee and just try different things, I highly recommend Times Square. So definitely, like I said, Times Square, there's something for everyone. Not everybody likes it, but because of the congestion of New York City. But you know what? For what it's worth, you're better off just walking around than catching a ride, unless you're one that you just like to sit in traffic forever and ever, amen. But Times Square, New York City, number 2. Number 3, the Georgia Aquarium. This aquarium is so unique because not only is it, I think it's either the largest in the US or one of the largest aquariums in the United States, but this aquarium is massive. There's a lot to do. There is a lot to see. And it's just a wonderful experience, especially if you're looking for something to do in Atlanta and you want to do it as a day trip. I highly recommend the Georgia Aquarium. Now, I went pre-pandemic. I have not gone back post-pandemic. So I don't know any of the things that may have changed between 2019 to today. But I do say that if you enjoy aquariums, I highly recommend a trip to the Georgia Aquarium. There is another aquarium in another state that one of my other friends recommended me to go. I haven't gone just yet, so I can't say anything about that one. However, if you really, really want something to do for a day trip in Atlanta, I highly recommend the Georgia Aquarium. It sits right in Olympic Park, which is, you walk through that and there's several things right there. There's a pier right there. The Coca-Cola Museum is right there, as well as the aquarium. So I definitely recommend it as a family outing to Georgia Aquarium. Please definitely go and check it out. This next one, we're going up to Canada for Niagara Falls. There are 2 sides to Niagara Falls. There's the Canadian side as well as the US side, which I believe is from Arizona, New York in. But I definitely recommend going through the border, or flying if you choose to, and going to the Canadian side. It's gorgeous. And that whole area is literally like its own little miniature town, and it's so fun. I really enjoyed it when I went up there. I didn't get a chance to do the Niagara Falls experience, but it's definitely worth it. I believe if you definitely want to try it and you are an adventure nerd like me, definitely give that a try. TripAdvisor has a ton of different tours and packages that you can check out along with prices as well, and the best time of year to go. When I went, we had gone in I believe it's either the summer or the spring, again, pre-pandemic, and we had a lot of fun. So I highly recommend Niagara Falls. If you are watching this in your army, you will know what this means. Niagara Popo! I had to. If you are a PTS Army, you will know exactly what that reference is for. But last but not least on this list, the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is situated between the borders of Arizona and Nevada. Now, there's 2 sides to it. There's the North Rim and the South Rim. When I went, I visited the South Rim, which is actually in Arizona. I have not gone to the North Rim yet. It takes about 5 hours driving time to get to the South Rim, and I think it's a little bit less for the North Rim since the northern part is much closer, since if you're leaving from Las Vegas, it's gonna be closer. But I highly recommend going to the South Rim because it's so much more to it to see. And the Grand Canyon in itself is one of the 8 wonders of the world. And seeing it in pictures, I promise you, does it no justice. Because it looks one way on pictures, because you know you can edit pictures and things. But when you see it in person, it's just like, wow. I kid you not, that was literally my reaction, because it looks like a painting. It looks like a painting in real life when you're actually there and experiencing it. And when I say the Grand Canyon is like a geologist's playground, because you're looking at all the different types of layer of rock and everything on the Grand Canyon, and that starts pulling at your brain cells to try and figure out how old those rocks are. It's definitely worth it. And there's different things you can do around the Grand Canyon. The most interesting thing I will say is, as you're taking the ride up there and you drive through all the little areas that you see when you're flying into Las Vegas, you know, flying over the canyon, when you see these little mini townships and you learn what they really are as you're going past. There's like little trailer park areas. There's little houses here and there. There is a whole resort built into a mountain going up into the Grand Canyon area. And I'm like, bro, wow. But the south rim of the Grand Canyon is what I recommend. Like I said, I have not been to the north rim, but the south rim, like I said, it takes about 5 hours. Or if you wish to do the helicopter experience for the Grand Canyon, you can do that. I'm afraid of helicopters, so I will not do that. But I actually recommend taking the bus tour. The bus tour, the driver we had, she was really friendly, and it was only about maybe eight or nine of us that were on there, and they gave us lunch and everything for the tour. So it's an all day experience. We left around, I think, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and we did not get back into Las Vegas until around almost midnight. It is an all day experience. So if you go and you do that, please do not try to plan anything else the rest of the day. It is literally an all day thing, and it is definitely worth it. The only thing I would suggest is, if you go, drink plenty of water, because the high altitude will definitely affect you. And the air is a lot thinner than when you're in Las Vegas itself. But other than that, that's it for my list. That's it for my list. So the Air and Space Museum, Times Square, the Georgia Aquarium, the Niagara Falls, and the Grand Canyon. I hope that you at least attempt to, visit at least one of these areas while you're traveling. If not, and you have your own places that you like to travel to, please let me know down in the comments. I really enjoy seeing and learning about new places. I love to visit new places. Give me some ideas of things to do, places to go, things to see. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and share this video with your friends, family, and other travel enthusiasts. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this one. Please make sure, if you can, please go follow me over on Twitter at DragonPink07. If you are a gamer, please go ahead, follow me over on Twitch, also at DragonPink07. With all that being said, I bid you adieu. Have a good day. Have a good night. Bye.
Never say forever fall into the